much for being adventurous to sit on the carpet. I created this idea as a metaphor, as a universal idea for the art world. So my vision is to have this carpet in big museum shows, in big galleries, in academy for fine arts, for example, in an art fair, where people will be invited to come to sit in an informal dialogue about art. And the idea was inspired by a metaphor that Luchezar Boyadjiev did during our conversation. He said that before our art scene was kind of teppich where people fight, and nowadays it's a teppich around which we meet. And I said, but why around? Let's be directly on the carpet. And then we developed this work and did this mind map. You can spend some time and read our thoughts. And of course, we are coming and from the art history, from Alighiero Boetti, from Swaps and Tatars, from different artists that are connected with the idea of the carpet, of sitting, of mapping in general. Then the carpet was part of another exhibition by Future Unforgettable Phase 6 with different kind of works, but one of the works was Manifesto of the Happiness by Ultra Futuro that was positioned on this carpet. And then for Manifesta, the curator Catherine invited me to present the concept in a podcast. And later on, here we are again in Pristina for this exhibition. The exhibition and the works in the exhibition are old historical works mainly from 90s. By two Bulgarian artists that are quite essential for the history of Bulgarian contemporary art. Luchezar Boyadjiev that you see here, and Pravdoliub Ivanov, whose work with the chair you can see in front. Their catalogs are in the small library that LambdaLambdaLambda have, so you can take a look. So starting from these two historical Bulgarian artists, from 95 is the work Symbols and Chairs by Luchezar Boyadjiev. Is just one of the works, but there are some other works from this series. Here you see chairs in the shape of an auditorium. You have men and women, Muslim and Christians, and me and you. The idea is that the idea by Luchezar is invitation to sit in someone else's chair, to get out of the box and to imagine to be like someone else. So the idea of sitting is connected to belonging, to the ground where we are from. But also there is a natural growth about which Pravdoliub Ivanov is talking in his work with the chair. It's the history of the work is that he was invited by curators that were doing a show about ready-made, something very for 90s progressive, like connected to the contemporary art. He was invited for this show to present a ready-made, and he said, okay, but I just don't want to present any ready-made. I want to present a ready-made that is coming from the Bulgarian perspective, something that is grounded and rooted here. So that's why he made the chair as a chair that is growing from the earth, from the soil. and it's connected to the nature of growth. And of course, here in this context, a work by younger artists, Driton Selmani, is it's showing. The name of the work is Archaeology of Capitalism, and in this photography, in this 12 perfect square, you can see actually a history of the Balkans and the modern history of the Balkans, all those ruins and archaeological sites that are temporarily covered by veneers, and everything is under construction somehow. And we try to find in this transformation time, in this construction site, to find happiness, to find poetry, and to find just our way from down to up, just to go to find our way to the future, let's say. So let's say that this show is very much connected to this Balkan conceptualism and our perception and understanding of what it was, and it's very much connected to 90s and 2000, and let's hope that this carpet is trying to put us in a dialogue how we can continue growing, because it looks like today we had with Driton this conversation, it looks like we are still in a site, in a place with for establishing ourselves. We still search for our identification, and I hope I'm not I hope I'm wrong, but I feel that this will be a constant process. Somehow, yeah. So more or less, this is the idea of this show, and of course, I'm very much inspired from what's happening here in Kosovo, also from the work of the great artists that are recently more and more visible in the European context, and I feel very comfortable here. So I'll be very happy if you, as an artist, art student, share more about how you feel here, and yeah, do we need some change in the art system, and how we can make it?
I think there's was a very good point when we talked yesterday, where you talked about ecologies and like the garden, and maybe you want to share that idea also with the others.
Yeah, the idea about the idea is to be horizontal, no matter if you're next to curator, collector, or next to a museum director or to art student, just to be next to each other and to really share our human experience. Because in the art world there is so much hierarchy. Sometimes you really feel like everyone is wearing black, everyone is just well fitted. Hi.
Here's the space on the carpet.
Yeah, you're welcome. And and the idea is that in general carpet is this is rug, but in general carpet is representation of the garden, and being grounded, being in this garden, we somehow the idea of natural growth and about the horizontality, not about of the growth as a pyramid. The idea of is a growth. Now our audience is growing just because it's enlarging. This is about the idea of enlargement, not about that someone else, someone from us is just is developing. So I don't know if I yeah.
And Driton had a really nice project about horizontality also in your studio during Manifesta. Maybe you want to also introduce that to those who might not know all the stories.
Yeah, I can and I will, because we find a lot of similarities in, especially in the last sentences you said, in this horizontal way of thinking, and also opening your own space for the others, and maybe even opening more doors than one door, in order to, one door to entry and the other maybe to, not to exit, but to leave some fresh air. This is also what I like about carpet, because you can sit anywhere and then you are part of something which is very important. I mean, everyone here already is giving me some energy and I like it. It seems like we're doing a very serious conversation, even though we are not. There is this idea about it, because it's an object which in my culture it represents serious talks. You know, if you sit down here, especially the way I'm sitting now, some serious things have to be decided and discussed about. And speaking about the seriousness, I always try to cut it down. I never like the seriousness of being one of the speakers in this very serious province. And because of that, I did my 10th project, as Kati mentioned, and it came very accidentally. I would never thought that I will do a project like that inside my studio, but because I was under a lot of pressure by a lot of friends, and my studio is central, it's very close to Lambda here. They were telling me, Driton, there are no rooms for Manifesta opening days. Why don't you rent your own studio, put some cozy couch and rent it? And then I said, wait a minute, it's not a bad idea, but let me shape it a bit. And I thought, I love camping. It's not that I go too often anymore because of my personal reasons and because of the kids. I have 2 kids, even though I send them very often camping. And I said, if I do something, I will do it the way I like. And then I decided to put a tent inside my studio. And fortunately, I had a spare room, because my friend with whom I was sharing with the studio decided to move because of other reasons. And I said, well, now it's a good idea. And I put a tent and I put it on, I asked even a professional photographer to photograph it, Ademula, you know him. And I put it on Airbnb in order to legitimize my idea. And the title on Airbnb was Camp Inside an Artist Studio. Because it's not that I leave everyone come to my studio. I still perceive it as a very intimate space, you know. But I said, what if I give this room to other people, and what will happen to break this normative of, because, you know, it's a myth that a lot happens, maybe nothing happens there. And then I put it on Airbnb, and I didn't know, but it became too viral. Too many friends shared it, and then I got too many bookings. And I told to Vesselina today, even my friend, she's a head manager at City Inn Hotel. She even posted it because their hotel was fully booked. That's funny for me. And then the 10th story continued. I got a lot of also friends of mine from all over the world came. And what I really like is that they didn't really come and sleep at my studio, but they spent even time with me. And then also they left some objects, some souvenirs, some presents for me, which I cherish them a lot. It's not that they have a lot of value, commercial value, but the idea that everyone left me an object, it already transformed the tent into an art project, and the art project into a curatorial project, which I'm not. I'm not a curator. But I understand this. And the legacy is that I have stories of those people who were there and who were telling me stuff. Like, let's say I have this curator friend from Belgium, Laureline Sorby. She did this itinerary. She came to Pristina. She slept 2 nights at this fancy hotel called Manami. And then she went hiking for 3 more days in Rugova Valley, in Rugova Mountains. And then she came at my studio. She said, I didn't like the luxury hotel. I liked the view in Rugova, but I really enjoyed the inner feeling of being inside your studio. So that's for me something which I keep, and I tell people it meant a lot. And I don't know, the tent is gone, but this reminds me of the tent because the tent was a suspended space given to other people to use it. This is a territory we are all sitting in. The tent was also something like that, in one way more intimate and more fortified by 1 millimeter tent. But I like it because it's this idea of breaking the normative of being too contemporary. I like it to be grounded, to just sit the fuck down and talk simple things, you know, not really complicate life, because I think we are complicating it too much nowadays, and we don't need to do that. We need to do this how to call it, this, not prayers, but this, you know, this intermezzos. Only now I understand why the Muslims pray 5 times a day. They just go away from this world and then they just enter this other stage and understand it, you know, understand that there is this otherness of us. And I think the carpet is a very good example. And I would really love if someone can share another story with us. I mean, it can be related to anything, to any feeling they get. But for me, sitting here now, it means that there is an importance of listening or telling something. I know I talk a lot. I don't know if this is too important to you, but I would rather listen from this point of view. So, yeah. If anyone has a story, Fitim, you might have a story about the carpet.
No,
it's Vesselina's idea. She
the
developed
carpet.
the work together with Luchezar.
Yeah.
And they did this mind mapping, first of all. Also commenting on other projects like Alighiero Boetti. Maybe you know this guy. This Italian artist who did a lot of rugs in Afghanistan long time ago. Also Slavs and Tartars, they did this flying carpet.
But well, I'm asking because I actually have a work of mine similar to, I mean, I did a sort of a painting, I created an image cutting through carpets, putting other carpets under carpets, or, you know, images became to appear, and I just invited the public to sit with me on the carpet.
Oh, really?
And
Here we go.
Wow,
what happened
super.
is that actually I was inviting them to hear my own story about carpets. I mean, it was not a story about carpets, but similar from what you were saying, like here it's very, I mean, the carpets for me reminds me of Oda, for example, rooms where there is usually carpets and little men's rooms and little mattresses on the side, and men would sit like that and they would discuss cigarettes and like very important issues usually it's to.
Yeah.
And there was one carpet that I integrated in the work that I didn't cut, and it was the carpet of my grandfather that he uses to pray. So it was a very, you know, it has this aura around, at least for me. But it was very funny because people came and the first usually sat on that carpet. It was the only one that wasn't cut, so I think maybe just spontaneously people would sit on it, and then when in the story that it would came that this one is the one that my grandfather used to pray on, like people go, oh my god, and they sit around it. And so I just thought about that story.
My grandfather used to pray in this corner.
Oh my god!
I'm joking.
I know.
But one more question, because you come from diaspora.
Yes.
Were you hiding money beneath the carpet or not?
No.
Okay. Not anymore. Okay. Because you know you can hide anything underneath it. What I do at home mostly, because I'm collecting everything what my kids do. Most of the drawings of them are under the carpet, but sometimes it can get like a landscape because of the drawings. Yes. Money, not. Great story.
Yeah.
Because you spoke about the idea that people were sitting on this praying carpet, and normally everybody understands that you cannot sit on that. They're only using it for praying. And already it's almost like a flying carpet, because you pray on it and then you fly somewhere else, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
really an
departure
interesting
gate, huh?
element, yeah.
It's a departure gate.
Yeah,
So.
I think if
Yeah.
if the tent is like the night version of the night version of the carpet. Carpet is a daily version, and
Yeah.
when I saw this work in your studio during Manifesta, I was okay. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
The only
it's-
confusion I produced was that I posted it 1 week before Manifesta, and everyone thought this is my Manifesta project, which was not. But tell me more about this particular carpet. Who made it? What kind of hair is this? Is
Yeah.
it goat or sheep or?
I think this is goat, and this is very typical Bulgarian carpet, kozyak. It's made, it's a goat, and the idea when the metaphor was created, we were sitting around similar carpet, but then the lady, it was part of an institution. Swimming pool, and she didn't want to give us the carpet to continue the idea to appropriate it in the concept. And then I just randomly went we have in Bulgaria this OLX. I went to OLX and just found I just put like
Online?
a handmade kozyak carpet, and I just get it. And the guy, it was interesting thing because this rug carpet was in an exhibition place, close to Sofia, connected to Bulgarian sculptor Pavel Koichev, and that it. But my idea of the carpet as a meta-institutional place, as a place that is gathering. By the way, it's written here in this text, so you can take it. So the idea is connected to every carpet, just the idea of the sitting. This is the gesture of like a displacement, the spending time in the gallery. Also, it's connected to the idea how we look works. Very often the works are placed and positioned on the eye level, so it's. How we talk, how we work, and randomly what can happen.
And also how can like every one of us kind of coming back to the idea of being horizontal.
Yeah.
So it also means that it can be quite easily done by everyone. So it's not like this institutional piece. So it's also like an invitation to kind of use that as as an example of how you can start a conversation, or like how you can grow your own ecosystem. And I think also for Pristina after Manifesta now, it's kind of a nice idea to think about like ecosystems and not like this hierarchy that like, but more kind of, okay, so now the city had like the doors are open, but like how, what do we grow in our garden now? Or like what kind of talks are we gonna have now, or how do we want to shape that? And I think it's also up to everyone to kind of be part of that, and that's a nice idea of this kind of flying carpet or landed carpet, or however you want to see it.
Anyone has thoughts on fit-in?
I was thinking about before coming here. For as long as I've been coming here and see exhibitions, we always used to stand up. So I was connecting this part of this day while coming here that, okay, I'm going to go see the exhibition. Because I didn't have, let's say, all time during the day to sit. So it was interesting to come to an exhibition and to come sit. But this is also connected to this part that I also find some carpets more comfortable than others, and find a way also to, let's say, if I'm comfortable to a carpet, which for example I have one in my room, I can also be more comfortable to express myself in any way, draw or read, or depends on what I'm going through the day or the week or what I'm working on. So it's interesting to come and sit in a carpet, for example now in an exhibition, and open this this topic. So yeah, I have maybe personal story, when I go to different places, see their carpets. Like if they are very comfortable to sit, like I can easily more before sit in a carpet than in a couch. So that's how, like from that point of view, at some point I came into my room and thought about maybe it's not the couch that I should be more comfortable in, so I don't need a couch, maybe I just need a carpet. So I can be more free and have this idea of this horizontality, which the couch does not present in a way. So yeah, carpet, it's also something really comfortable for me when it comes to expressing or doing something or just laying on it.
It's
So
warm.
as much as
It's
soft
warm.
it is, yeah, it's warm.
You know what? It's something what you said reminded me of the, you know, when you're in the living room and you're on the couch and you're talking about something, it becomes intense, and at some point you say, "Hey, come," and you sit on the carpet, like you go down from the couch and you go down on the carpet, and it becomes like so down to earth and honest and intense. Like, you know, I thought about this, and actually the carpet has this power of, okay, like
being
you
grounded,
said,
yeah.
but I just thought about this moment that probably everybody saw or experienced, like just come down on the carpet, or like
You also
it
reminded
becomes
me of
more
my-
serious.
My grandmother, when we used to go to her, if more people were sitting, let's say, on the ground because of the couch, or they had this heating stove more close to them, and they had to be sitting on the ground. When we were talking, like my grandmother, whenever the topic was, as Katina said, intense, she would like just do a move and sit on the carpet. So like she would be on the same level of eye level maybe with us.
Yeah.
That's really
I
familiar
think
to me.
it's,
I think here because of what
I-
happens.
I think it's very important to be on the eye level, and I think eye level, since we work in visual art, it's very important, and it's very big speculation with eye level in an exhibition place. I don't know how it's with you, but in Bulgaria we do it 1 meter 50, 1 meter 55, the middle like a eye level. But it's also, we are privileged to work in art. So we hear, we see, we smell, and we are just like let's say, it's like we are people that we can perceive, but there are many people that they don't have, they don't know how to perceive art, or they can't, they don't have these senses. So when you say on a eye level, sometimes when you talk to kid, if you really want to get in contact with the kid, you don't talk like this, but you just.
I tried this with my son.
You tried?
It doesn't work. Maybe we should sit on a carpet.
Yeah.
But on the elevator, it never works.
Yeah.
This is where I give him the rules of the day when I jump on the elevator and try to go to my car and then send him to school. Maybe because we are both Aquarius. Maybe because I don't know. But maybe I should try our IKEA carpet we have at home. This eye level. But it's already a rug. You know, it's like maybe handmade.
Okay.
Handmade by someone in Balkans, sold by Swedish interpreters. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's how it works. And but maybe Artan, you use a bit of carpets in your drawings. Maybe you can tell something, huh?
Ore kam shumë histori me këto, po me qenë se tash ja mundshme për këtë një shka? I speaking in
Yes, please.
I Driton.
No, try English.
No,
it's fine. Vesselina, we need to
Okay,
Because,
I can
uh,
translate.
No, I don't
Okay.
need you translate to me.
Yes,
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do të thonë kam shumë këse ngjarje, këse histori, po më të kallëzoj një historie gjatë kohës luftës, kur e kam lënë shtëpinë.
Okay. Yeah, he has a lot of stories. He will only tell us a story which is related to the war experience when he left his own home.
Studio at my home.
When he fled.
Yeah.
Po, do të thonë tjetër në studio që e den edhe Vesselina. Do të thonë aty ndër një farë tepi kështu e punuar si qelën që ka qenë, i kum fut punimet e mia. Do të thonë që kum punuar gjatë kurseve. Edhe tash te punimi më si ku shtia të ndër tepi për më drejtu fillim, po tani që pelo ato punë, edhe tash kur thena mos më i vjedh. Ju më kthy ku mlon edhe do franga parë.
Okay.
Aty afër.
So he left during that period. He did a lot of drawings and exercises. He was putting them under the carpet to be more flat. And then he also left a few Swiss francs.
Yes. Edhe kur jemi kthy mas sa mujve që kemi qenë kështu si emigrant, domethënë ai punimi që ka qenë ai qelimi është vjedh edhe paret. Kurse punimet, pikturat kanë vetë aty.
After he returned from the war as a refugee, like month away, somebody stole the kilim, this rug, and also the money, but not the artworks.
Problemi ka qenë te puna, domethënë te punë të artit, që unë mi rujt ato punë, edhe ato pare kum shtia ato që mi marr paret, edhe mos mi marr punë ose diçka, vetëm se esenca ka qenë që punë tonë, apo ajo koha adoleshencës 18 vjet, shikun pas që kur të kthehej unë mi rujt punë, që të shka gjithçka në të kallit.
So he was more interested in the artworks rather than in the kilim or in the francs. And I think he reached that point because the guys took the rug and the money, but not his artworks. Yeah. Because he was also a young artist, and he thought, which I think he still thinks, that artworks are more important than rugs or money.
Edhe një tjetër shumë e shkurt.
Dova pak, po s'ka.
Okej. Edhe një tjetër shumë e shkurt, domethënë Driton, a pedin ti këto postoqia që i kanë?
Po, edhe na I thojmë postoqi. Postoqi I thojmë na regioni jonë, se jemi në regionin njëjtë. We say postoqi, we say for like the sheep skin, where you preserve it and you make it look like a rug. You know, I don't know how this is called in English. You know this original skin cut of like the goat or this. Yeah.
Mas sa vjetë unë tash pedi që pse babgjyshia në atë kohë që ka pi kaçak. Edhe
ka pi çka?
Kaçak,
okay,
don, po. Yes, cigare.
Kaçak cigare.
Edhe ka jetu gati 94 vjet kështu. Gjatë kohës dimit, gjatë kohës ftoft, çat postoqin që e ka shtru, nuk e kalon kërkon më ul atë. Okay. Po tashmë çto që ju mul, son jam I ndish shumë prej ftoftit. Po pevrej që kjo koka kaçak. Te di tash ti pse ai sta kalon kur mulni.
Okay. His grandfather used to have that sheepskin all of the day whenever he went. He lived more than 90 years. All the time he was just smoking this organic tobacco and having that. And he said he's also sensitive to the cold, and only now, while sitting here, he understands that this is also good stuff.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Good stuff, yeah.
It's not only decoration,
I think my mom at home has one artificial thing like sheep skin. I might get it.
Now you see.
Yeah. Now I'm infected by rugs.
Artan, thank you very much for sharing Falemandare, for sharing the story.
Does anyone have a story to tell?
No, I was reminded of something, to be honest, now. A trauma. We used to have at our house like carpets, very detailed carpets, which my grandma would prepare or do them herself, because she had this thing, tezya, I don't know how to say it.
This tool of...
And she used to make carpets. And it was a beautiful one. But when I was like around 7-8 years old, after coming from Greece, from immigration with my family, we had 2 apartments in Elbasan, in the city that I used to live in. So, and as a gift, our grandma gives us this carpet. But at that period, we did not have electricity, because it was those times in Albania. And we used to have a lot of candles all around. And one day, I was put to sleep, and we had candles all over the house. And my parents went to the other apartment. And I know it's a bit tragic, but nothing happened, it was fine. One of the candles falls to the carpet, and the whole house is on fire, and I was sleeping there. And from that moment, we did not put carpets in the house anymore. But I was okay, the house was ish, okay. I mean, a lot of stuff got burned, but that's on my mother. Anyways, yeah, now I got this traumatic memory, and thank you for unlocking it. Because I was thinking about the reason why don't we have carpets at our at my own house, and I was like,
Tell your parents that you have electricity now.
no, yeah, I mean, Fatosnano period. At that time, electricity was like.
We were also having a live period with candles, and we also had a similar story at home, not from the carpet, but the candle went to the television melted. So yeah, it was a kid of my cousin, they came from Germany, it was after the war immediately. It was almost a drama, but we all survived. The TV not, but it's okay. My uncle brought a new one from Hamburg, from Germany. So, yeah. It reminds me of this edge of where we were living because of not having electricity. We were experimenting a lot with a lot of kerosene, a lot of there's fuels and candles and this gas heated lightning. It was all too dangerous, but So we're here now, sitting here, okay.
Yeah, the carpet is connecting with surviving somehow.
Joseph Beuys used a sort of a carpeting to cover himself, but yeah, I mean, it might be true.
Going through
something.
Yeah, I have this, I'll share with you this curatorial plan for my next show to present drawings. They're really specific. They're war drawings to present under carpet. And now, when you are saying this, Artan, and when we are sharing all those drawings, all those ideas about the light, inflaming, and so on. This also not like a peaceful ground, but also ground that is in like a for battle, for something happening there. This is something that will be in future, the next presentation of the carpet.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Kachi. And what is for you the carpet? From where you come?
Last question.
Last question.
What does a carpet mean for, let's say now we're framing it.
Warm feet. No, I mean in our culture, speaking of Central Europe, it was never that present. So like I only kind of got into this whole culture of the carpet when I went on a trip to Syria 2002, because we did a project with university there, and so like this whole kind of Osman idea of like hosting and like the rooms and like the carpet and sitting down and like having this horizontality, that's where I really kind of start looking at and understanding the carpet as like a social framework.
Yeah.
Because for us it was more like kind of decoration, which I don't think it is. So I think there's so much more to it, which here has more presence than like at the Western world that I grew up.
Yeah.
Like
at the time you also add tea to the carpet, it's not an object anymore. Because then you have tea talk. And this is like the similarity of the English tea house is the carpet. I mean, most of the time coming from Oriental influences. But if you also have tea here, then conversation will be different.
Yes. Well, we could have a glass of Bulgarian wine.
Very just to finish this and to say that I'm coming from the Balkan, but I'm Orthodox. I never had this experience. I know my grandfathers they had, and my idea with the carpet was coming from somewhere else. But honestly, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart that you shared this experience and for this concept and for everything. It's so important that the first international presentation was here. So just wanted to
Thank you.
thank you. Tell me about LambdaLambdaLambda.
So the gallery LambdaLambdaLambda was founded 2015 by Isabella Ritter and me. We are both Austrians, and we decided to take an excursion to the Balkans and and started the gallery here because we have been really intrigued and blown by the local art scene here. So we now 7 years ago we did our first exhibition in this space. So let's see what more will come.
Yeah.
And this summer for Manifesta we opened our second venue, where we currently have an exhibition by Hahn and we kind of feel like that these two places really work well together. The one is kind of a more intimate space here, which we would like to open to invite people from abroad or also local people to kind of do projects so that it kind of functions like a hub. And the other gallery has a completely other layout, but it's also gives us other opportunities and our artists to do exhibitions.
Yeah, you are creating the idea about modern Kosovo, about modern Pristina, presenting artists from all over here
and also from abroad, which is also important because a lot of people, from here who don't have visas, they can still not travel. So it's also an opportunity for them to see other works.
Yeah, this is big.
Yes.
This is big.
And Manifesta was really important for that as well.
Yeah. It's now being here for a few days, I really understand how complicated it's to work and how dedicated you need to be, because of the customs, because of the visa issues, because of many things that are missing here. You are inspired from here. Most of the artists you represent with LambdaLambda are from the region,
yes,
and mainly from Kosovo.
Kosovo and Croatia.
Yeah. And what is so special about this area? How you define the art here as an art critic and curator and art historian? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you've been here a couple of times now, so you also feel like the vibe and the country is very young, and it's just that there are a lot of interesting things are happening maybe because there is a lack of something, you kind of have to think different about the way how things can be done, and this might open up the opportunity or the inspiration to kind of approach certain topics in a different way.
Yeah, certain topics on a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very much
it's the same idea with the carpet, how you kind of introduce that concept about the horizontality, and maybe it's also because of the lack of institutions that exactly like this kind of idea of this horizontality or
very straightforward approach can nurture the art scenes here and maybe be like a role model for how you can communicate or how you can work together in another way, which again can inspire other people.
Yeah, I think it's more about intuition here, because we always try to find a creative way to do things, because institutions are not working, and that's why the carpet is part of the idea of having intuition than institution. You know how it is. You need to just forget about time and all the restrictions. it's so easy to say no. This is what we were talking today with Driton, and I think there is something very much connected to the materiality of daily magical objects, no matter if it's chair, if it's carpet, if it's cup, glass, some things, something that is familiar, because very often you live all your life with one object. Or all the family, families, like 3 families live with one object. It's so much rooted with the culture and inheriting things. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for bringing the carpet to.
Yeah, it's because of you. Yeah, super.